Hi, Jack here again. Welcome to my story part 2. Well, I quit my job. We made the decision. We packed up all our belongings in a 24-foot U-Haul and hitched a trailer to the back, threw on my van and headed back home to Toronto. My wife flew up ahead with the kids to look for a place to live. It was a long trip back. I had a lot of time to think about what was waiting for me there. We had no money coming in, no job to speak of, no place to live, and mounting credit card bills. I was pretty emotional at the time, trust me. When I got back to Toronto, my wife had found a place for us to live. It was going to cost us around $1,400 a month, money we didn't have, but hey, at least we got a roof over our head. I sat down and listed out my options. I needed to get back on track. Figured I could look for a job and invest in someone else's success, and go back to school, increase my skill set, and invest in myself, or start my own business. And why not invest in my own success? I've always believed that I was worth more than I was giving myself credit for. I think most of us do. If that hadn't been the case, the company that I worked for all these years wouldn't have profited from my efforts. What was I missing? Why wasn't I really thinking about starting my own business, investing in my own success? The questions are, what do you do? Where do you start? Well, I started with getting support behind me, and my wife was always trusted in me, believed in me. And once I got her support to move forward, I then picked up the phone and started calling people around me. And not just the ones who were close to me. I expressed my wishes to start my own business, but I didn't really know what it would be. Considering my career was sales and marketing, that's probably a good place to start. Funny thing about speaking with people, when you express genuine desire for help or looking for help and express yourself honestly and openly, telling people what you need and if they can help, they'll extend themselves to you. They'll really go out of their way to do so. I find people generally are good in that way. And it could be simple as good advice, a connection with someone that can help you. I made my decision. I was going to start my own business. Once you make that mindset change, or the mindset shuffle as I call it, a couple of opportunities presented themselves fairly quickly. I chose one that would require a $5,000 investment in inventory. Money I didn't have, so I borrowed it from my dad. Looking back, it was the best decision I ever made. It's 16 years later now. I've been my own boss, a business owner, independent for the past 16 years. And over the years, I've built a successful sales agency representing numerous product lines and selling to major retailers in Canada and the US. I developed an expertise for actually opening up new market channels. 5 months ago, I was faced with an interesting situation again. Due to challenging times brought about by economic downturn, a number of my sales agency lines were faltering. Some of the companies I was representing were actually going out of business. I took a substantial financial hit, and I sat down. I had some extra time on my hand, and I sat down and looked at my options again. I needed to bring my income up. Although I had numerous suggestions to go back to, considering going back to work, it was one of those options I just could not entertain. How could I look at going back to work for someone else when all these years I've managed to invest in myself and in my own success? I had to take that option off the table. Besides, I'm a business owner, and business owners don't look for a job when they're in situations like this. They look for other opportunities, other things to invest their time in. So this time I really only have 2 options on the go. I can go back to school and invest in myself, again, increase my skill set. Or I can start my own business and invest in my own success. So we're back to that. Now, I had to figure this out. So I went back to getting on track. I called my friends, acquaintances, got on the internet, did searches, looked for opportunities, gathered as much information as I could. And I could tell you, looking for opportunities, connecting with people to find that thing is really just a part-time job. I spent an average, again, of 3 or 4 hours a day doing that. So I kept all my options open. It wasn't long before I connected with a company that had a great product line. Wide open market opportunities. I sat down and negotiated a contract to head their sales and marketing efforts in Canada and the US and helped them also build a sales team. They actually offered me a job, but I turned it down because I wanted to maintain my independence. And I realized that by maintaining my independence, I'd be more highly financially rewarded down the road. So I chose the straight commission route. Although the money wasn't coming in for a good 6 months, once it did come in, it more than doubled the amount should I have negotiated a contract for a job to go back to work. I found a new direction and focus. Got everything starting to click. Sales and marketing efforts were put in place. I connected with a number of associates and built a sales team in Canada and the US. After all, one of the things I realized is that if you leverage other people's experience, if you leverage other people to help you with your cause, it's the smart way to go. And in this particular case, I realized very quickly that they have quicker access to certain particular accounts and relations built up over the years that couldn't be neglected. And that's the route I went. 6 weeks into the project, and I had everything lined up. Appointments were still in place, good prospects for some business coming forth, and a whole bunch of rep groups out there to help me with this cause. The momentum was building. And although I had some extensive travels in the beginning, after a couple of months, things started to settle and I found the time was being freed up again. You know, I had to make some more decisions. I figured I could take that extra time and leverage it. So what do you think I did? It's been something that I'm wanting to do for quite a while now. Why don't you come see me in My Story Part 3? I think you'll be quite inspired. Something that you should consider yourself.